Good morning and welcome to the Treehouse. This is Kag with the View from Above tarot reading for Thursday, September 12th. This morning I'm using my newer Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the Radiant Wise Spirit deck, for our reflection spread this morning. This is going to be a collective reading, so take what resonates for you and leave the rest. The deep shuffle got done before I started the video, so this is just the final little cleanup shuffle before we get started with laying out our reflection spread for today. So yesterday's message was ask, don't tell. And that is about being a little bossy, I suppose. And we'll see if we're going to be continuing that storyline or doing something totally different. So this is our present, that which needs to be integrated, our unconscious, past and influences, conscious mind, and future if energy goes in that direction. Remember that we all have free will and we can change anything we want anytime. Well, not change anything, but things. The energies can be they're fluid. Just as Yoda says, always in the motion is the future. And here is our Merryweather card for today. So our present energy is that of the King of Wands. The King of Wands is the get it done guy. Remembering that Wands is determination and will and inspiration. And this king in particular is really a go-getter. He can get things done for his kingdom, for his people and his lands, but he can also get things done for himself. And you can see that he's sitting kind of on the edge of his seat. And that is because he doesn't just want to do things for everybody else. He also wants to do things for himself. And so he tends to be a little edgy on the throne because he wants both. And this is what needs to be integrated today, which is the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is frequently called the Heartbreak card, and you can see the rain in the background and the gray clouds, and the three swords piercing a heart. Note that the heart is not bleeding. So the Heartbreak card is sometimes thought of as something that is an old heartbreak, and frequently when we look at the position of the swords in the suit of swords, actually in any of the suits, the way that the swords are oriented or the way that the suit symbols are oriented point us to other cards within the same suit. And so I'm just going to turn this around and it will remind you, if you look at these two swords, they are crossed much like the Two of Swords. And that this one sword that is straight up is reminiscent of the Ace of Swords. And so what we kind of look at it with this card is that there is a knowing of truth and that there is a speaking of truth, perhaps from the heart. And frequently when we speak the truth from the heart, it can be very difficult and it can be very painful. So whatever that is that needs to be integrated, the king needs to understand this in order to go ahead and do what he needs to do for the people and the kingdom, as well as for himself. The unconscious mind is that of the Page of Cups. And I really do like this card a great deal. So the page is the messenger of the King of Cups. And he is surprised, as anybody would be, of seeing a fish jumping out of his cup. So whatever the messages are, there's a surprise somewhere in our emotions for us today, in our unconscious. So there's a little sense of humor in this card. And so perhaps where you're coming from today, where any of us are coming from today, that it is a place of some humor or lightness, which would be a very helpful thing to have, especially if we're dealing with a little heartbreak and trying to decide if we need to do something for ourselves or for our kingdom. The past influence is the card of strength. And you can see that that she is taming the lion. And strength indicates that our wilder sides sometimes need to be brought under control by our more intellectual sides. And while this might not be necessarily emotion, it could be. But the focus of the card has to do with how she is able to manage this wild beast so gently. She's even got her hands on his jaw. His tail is between his legs. So it's no mere feat to be able to kind of harness the power of the lion, but in the way that the lion is acquiescing to whatever it is that she wants. So you have a history of some ability to be strong in a sort of similar situation, to bring that strength into whatever it is that you're looking at in the current energy. Conscious mind is thinking about structures. So the Three of Pentacles is the one pentacle card where the pentacles are dark. All of the rest of them are golden. And this is the card that happens underground, the only one that happens underground. There are a couple of inside cards, but this one is underground. And whatever you are building, whatever the structure is, it is one of expansion. The 3 cards are cards of expansion. And now we've got 2 threes, expanding the heart, expanding the structure. And these 3 people are encompassing the master builder, the architect, and the monk. So you've got spirituality, you've got the philosophy, and you've got the actual physical capabilities to do whatever this structure is, this expansion is. Sometimes it is a card of working with others. Sometimes it is just about harnessing all of your own internal abilities to support a new structure that's coming online. So looking at the future here, we've got the Five of Wands, and we haven't seen that card for a while. The Five of Wands is a card of chaos in the way I understand it. And if you look at this card, these 5 guys are all wielding wands. If you look closely, nobody's hurting anybody else, but they look kind of confused. And so when I think about this card, I think about IKEA instructions. And that this is how it feels like to me when I'm trying to put something together IKEA-wise. I don't really understand the pictures, but I'm working really hard to kind of get it organized. And so that's kind of what this card looks like to me, is that there's a lot of chaos going on, and we haven't really come into an understanding of what we're going to do about all of this will and determination here. And so if I want to look back at this reflection reading, if the king has launched something, perhaps there's a little chaos on this side of it, especially if we are building something new, or if we have really expressed something from our heart. There may just be a little chaos there. So let's look horizontally. And the influence from the past is the ability to be strong and to master our lower impulses, perhaps, and make a decision about if we're doing this for ourselves or for our kingdom, speaking from the heart, and it has brought us some chaos. And if we look vertically, we're looking at an unconscious frame of reference that's with a sense of humor. And sometimes when there's chaos, it's really helpful to have a sense of humor. It also is helpful to hold things lightly while we're talking about heartbreaks and deciding about how we're going to go about building whatever it is that we're after. So this seems to be a really important card, this Page of Cups, is to hold things lightly, to be amused, to know that you can hold the beast at bay while you kind of figure out which way you're going to go with this determination. Remembering to speak the truth from your heart, because that will help you to expand into whatever this is that you want to build. So I think I would say be surprised, and that will be a way for you to manage the chaos without fear. So let's look at Merryweather for a second, and we've got the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups in this deck is a card of disappointment in some regard. So he's folded up like a fan, And he's looking at these 3 cups and he's not liking it. But what he is not looking at is that the hand of the universe is handing him yet another opportunity. And it could be that that is this surprise that we're kind of looking for here. So I guess I would say be attuned to a surprise coming forth. And be sure to look around, right? Don't be so focused on what's right in front of you that you miss all of the peripheral goodnesses that are out there in the world. So what we have here is we have 2 wands, we have 2 cups, we have a sword, and we have a pentacle. So we have all of the energies present. We have 1 major arcana. We have 3, 4, and 5. So 3, 4, and 5, when you think about the range of numbers in the minor arcana from ace through the 10, 3, 4, and 5 are kind of at the last half of the first half. So the 5 cards are cards of change. And so we're really coming into that place of getting this online, and there's about to be a change or a transition before we get into the higher numbers, the 6, 7, and 8. So you are coming into the middle area of this particular round. So everything isn't coming to an end. It's really in the process of coming up and online, which may be reflected by our king here, who hasn't really decided whether he's going to do this for himself, do this for the kingdom, what it is that he's going to do. So that's what I have for us here at the Treehouse this morning. If this reading was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And I invite you to come back again tomorrow for another View from Above tarot reading here at the Treehouse. Blessings.